Hi, I'm Sue. Today we're going to do seared lamb chops with a white bean and sage sauce. It's delicious. We're going to start with a rack of lamb, and it's really important to get a good cut of lamb. Meijer sells some really good lamb. It's New Zealand natural lamb. I love it, and I really do stand by this product. I buy it all the time. When you buy it, you want to make sure though that you clean the meat, and by that I mean taking off a little bit of the fat. Lamb is a very, very fatty cut of meat. Basically what you do, it's pretty easy to clean. You can see there's like a ridge right here where all the fat is. You take a knife and you just gently make a line along the ridge of that fat, and then you can see you can start working your fingers underneath the fat and start pulling it off. After you loosen some of the fat, we want to continue Frenching this. As you can see, this has already been Frenched, which means taking a lot of the fat away from the bone, but I want to do it just a little bit more, and that also helps you remove the rest of the fat. So we're going to go in between each bone and make an incision, and then we're going to start working some of the fat off the bone from this direction. And you can see there's a fair amount of fat still left, and you just keep working it. Trust me, it's worth it. In the end, you'll end up with a really nice cut of meat. Now that you have most of your fat off, you want to continue Frenching the bone even more, and a spoon is a really handy thing to have. There is also a sinew, or it's kind of like a white membrane that's on the back of each bone, and the spoon's going to help you get that off as well. We've got the meat nice and cleaned off. It's looking really good. Now we're going to season it with a little salt and pepper. And what I do usually is I'll just blend a little salt and pepper and keep that always by the side of my stove. I mean, almost everything that I cook with, I use salt and pepper. So we'll just go ahead and sprinkle a little of that on the meat. The pan is nice and hot. You can hear it sizzling. That's how you know you got the right temperature. And when we sear something, we don't really sear it for very long at all. It's just to get the color. So we're looking about 3 minutes or so per side. It's got a nice golden brown color on the other side. So we're going to kind of set this over here for a little while and let the meat rest. Now what we're going to do is take all of the nice bits of meat and pan juices and make a wonderful sauce out of it. We put a little garlic, a little red onion in there. Next what we're going to do is take some rosemary and some sage. And to clean rosemary, you just basically grasp it from the top and you just pull down and pull all those nice little pieces off. This is a really woody piece, so you really don't want that in your mixture. And then we've got some nice sage here. When you chop this up, you want to chop it up nice and fine. Sprinkle it in your pan and give it a little stir. Now my vegetables have softened. I'm going to kick the heat up just a little bit. Now we're going to do the deglazing part, and when you deglaze, you use some type of a liquid. You can use chicken stock, which I'm using. You can use wine. You can even use water if you want. So you want to stir and kind of scrape up the bits of pieces while it's cooking. And then our final steps are, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some chopped plum tomatoes into the mix. And you can buy these already chopped in a can. Meijer sells a really good brand. They have their own brand. I use those all the time. They're delicious. They also have their own cannellini beans, so we're going to add those to the mix as well. They're white bean. You could use Great Northern bean, cannellini. They're basically the same thing. Now that that is simmering, I'm going to go back to my lamb, and I'm going to go ahead and put the lamb right on top of the bean mixture. And you just kind of nestle it in there really nice. We've got the oven preheated to 400 degrees. We're going to pop this whole thing right in the oven, so make sure that your pan has a heat-proof handle. Otherwise, you'll end up with a melted mess, and that's not good. So we're going to go ahead and pop that in the oven 5 or 10 minutes, and it'll be ready. The meat's been in for about 5 or 10 minutes. Now it's time to temp it. Very important step. You want to make sure that you know exactly how hot your meat is. That'll tell you whether it's done. 135 degrees is what we're shooting for. We'll go ahead and you stick that in the deepest part of the meat, and voila. We're going to go ahead and take some of the bean mixture, put it in a nice plate, kind of wipe down the sides because we want it to look really pretty once we put the lamb back in there. And then we're going to go ahead and take our lamb and nest it right in there. It's so beautiful. And again, you've got these great fresh herbs, hopefully left over. Just set that in there like so. And voila, you have this wonderful dish. It's great for around the holidays. It's great for entertaining spring, Easter, whenever. Lamb is awesome.